Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. You've done the hard part. You've held your ground, embraced the silence, and let your absence speak louder than any words could. The no-contact period was your crucible time to reset, to reclaim your power, to show yourself and her that you're not defined by her presence. But now, as the silence stretches and the possibility of reconnection looms, you stand at a crossroads. What you do next isn't just a step, it's the pivot that will either solidify your position as a high-value man or unravel everything you've built. No contact wasn't the finish line, it was the starting gun, the spark that set the stage for a deeper transformation. If you mishandle this phase, all the discipline you've cultivated could falter. But if you navigate it with intention, you can reignite her curiosity, spark her desire, and establish yourself as a man she can't resist, not because you chased her, but because you became someone worth chasing. This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about living with purpose, staying true to your worth, and creating a life so compelling that others are drawn to it. Let's walk through a Stoic-inspired roadmap for what to do after no contact, blending ancient wisdom with modern psychology to guide you toward a future where you're in control, not just of her attention, but of your own destiny. The Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, taught that true power lies in mastering what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. In the context of relationships, no contact was your first act of Stoic discipline, a refusal to let someone else's absence dictate your peace. By stepping back, you created a void that forced her to confront life without you. That silence wasn't just a pause, it was a statement, a mirror reflecting her choices back at her. Psychologically, this aligns with the scarcity principle. When something valuable becomes rare, its perceived worth skyrockets. Your absence planted a seed of curiosity, maybe even doubt, in her mind. At first, she might have felt empowered, thinking she held the upper hand. But as the days turned into weeks, that confidence likely wavered. She started wondering, is he really gone? Has he moved on? Did I misjudge him? This emotional roller coaster, triggered by your silence, is powerful. But its impact depends on what you do next. No contact is not the whole strategy, it's the foundation. Without a deliberate follow-up, the curiosity you've sparked will fade, and the power you've reclaimed could slip away. The first step after no contact is to observe, not react. Her behavior in this phase is a window into her intentions, and rushing to respond can undo the progress you've made. The Stoics emphasized perception, seeing things as they are, not as your emotions paint them. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When she reaches out, maybe with a casual hey or a like on your post, don't leap to conclusions. That small gesture might seem insignificant, but it's often a test, a way to gauge whether you're still invested or if you've truly moved forward. Psychologically, this aligns with attachment theory. Her outreach could reflect an anxious need to reestablish connection, testing whether you'll revert to old patterns. Even her silence is telling. If she doesn't reach out, she might be mirroring your absence, waiting to see if you'll crack first. This is where patience becomes your superpower. A high-value man doesn't rush assesses. He observes. He acts with intention. Consider what her actions reveal. If she texts out of the blue, it's not just a message, it's a signal she's feeling the weight of your absence. If she engages with your social media, liking a post or viewing your stories, she's dipping her toe back into your world, testing the waters. But don't mistake these gestures for commitment. They're often probes, subtle ways to see if you'll jump back in with both feet. The Stoic approach is to stay composed, to avoid letting her actions, whether enthusiastic or distant, dictate your emotional state. Imagine you're a chess player, studying the board before making a move. If you respond too quickly, too eagerly, you risk signaling that your silence was a bluff, not a choice. Instead, take your time. If she sends a hey, let it sit for a few hours, maybe a day, before responding. This isn't about playing hard to get, it's about showing that your life doesn't hinge on her outreach. You're not waiting by the phone, you're living, growing, thriving. This patience aligns with the psychological concept of self-regulation, the ability to manage your impulses in pursuit of long-term goals. By holding back, you signal confidence and self-assurance, qualities that are inherently attractive. You're not swayed by her first move, whether it's a text or silence. If she doesn't reach out, don't panic. Her lack of action doesn't mean she's over you, it might mean she's wrestling with her own pride, fear, or ego, waiting to see if you'll break the silence first. Instead of reacting, use this time to focus on yourself. The Stoics would urge you to invest in what you control: your growth, your purpose, your peace. This period of observation is your chance to reinforce the habits you built. During no contact, hitting the gym, pursuing a passion, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up. These actions aren't just for show, they're for you. Building a life so full that her presence or absence becomes secondary. When the door to communication does open, your next step is to reignite attraction, not with grand gestures or desperate pleas, but with subtle, confident moves that remind her why she was drawn to you in the first place. This is where many men falter, rushing to recapture the old dynamic, diving back into heavy conversations or emotional confessions. That's a mistake. The Stoics taught moderation, doing just enough, with intention, to achieve your aim. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your men, not outside events." Your goal isn't to overwhelm her with attention, but to spark curiosity, to show her a glimpse of the man you've become. If she reaches out with a casual "Hey," or "How's it been?" respond with confidence and neutrality. A simple, "Hey, things are good, been keeping busy. How about you?" is enough. It's approachable but not overly eager, keeping the tone light, playful, and intriguing. Avoid diving into the past or heavy topics like the breakup. Those conversations can come later, if at all. For now, you want her to feel comfortable engaging without pressure, to sense that you're in control of your emotions. This approach taps into the psychological principle of reciprocity. When you offer something of value like your calm, confident presence, she's more likely to invest in return. But the key is to show her you've evolved. During no contact, you've likely grown. Maybe you've picked up a new hobby, hit a career milestone, or simply gained clarity about your goals. Let these changes shine through naturally. For example, if she asks what you've been up to, mention a recent adventure or achievement in passing. "I've been getting into hiking lately, found some killer trails." Don't brag or oversell it. Just let her see that your life is moving forward. This subtle display of growth is magnetic because it shifts her perception. You're not the man she left, clinging to the past. You are a man with a future, one she might want to be part of. Psychologically, this triggers the halo effect. Your growth in one area, like confidence or ambition, makes you more attractive overall, as she starts to see you in a new light. Curiosity is your ally in this phase, and the Stoics would agree that less is more when it comes to sparking it. The less she knows about your life, the more she'll want to uncover. This aligns with the psychological concept of the information gap theory. People are driven to seek out what's uncertain or incomplete. Don't disappear completely. That could signal disinterest. Be selective about what you share. On social media, post sparingly but strategically. A photo of you at an event, working on a project, or enjoying a moment with friends shows her you're living fully without her. But don't overdo it. Posting too often or crafting updates that scream for her attention can backfire, making you seem desperate for validation. Instead, let your life speak for itself. If you're interacting directly, keep your responses intriguing but incomplete. If she asks, "What have you been up to?" try, "A lot of cool stuff and new projects keeping me busy. I'll tell you about it sometime." This leaves her wanting more, encouraging her to invest effort to learn about your world. The Stoics valued restraint, and here, it's your tool to keep her curious without giving away your power. Maintaining emotional balance is critical as you navigate this phase. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of her outreach, to feel a rush of hope or nostalgia when her name lights up your phone. But this is where many men stumble, becoming too available too quickly, undoing the progress of no contact. The Stoics emphasized equanimity, staying steady regardless of external circumstances. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Whether she's warm and engaged or distant and guarded, your emotional state should remain consistent. The steadiness isn't just attractive, it creates a sense of security and trust, showing her you're not swayed by her whims. Psychologically, this aligns with emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate your emotions and respond thoughtfully, not reactively. If she tries to stir up past conflicts or test your patience, don't take the bait. Respond calmly and assertively, perhaps with, "I'd rather focus on where we're at now, let's keep this positive." This sets a boundary without escalating, reinforcing your value as a man who controls his emotions. Setting boundaries is a practical application of this principle. If she pushes for more than you're ready to give, say, demanding an immediate meetup or revisiting old arguments, don't feel pressured to comply. A simple, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you," shows that your time is valuable and that you're not at her beck and call. This isn't about being cold. It's about respecting yourself enough to dictate the terms of engagement. Try this exercise after each interaction. Reflect on whether you maintained your emotional center. Did you respond from a place of strength or react out of excitement or fear? Write down one thing you did well and one area to improve. The Stoic-inspired practice builds self-awareness, helping you stay grounded as you navigate reconnection. As she begins to engage, the dynamic shifts, and this is your chance to redefine the relationship on your terms. No contact tilted the scales in your favor. She's felt your absence, maybe even questioned her choices. Now, it's her turn to prove her value. Too many men make the mistake of rushing to put her back on a pedestal, reverting to old patterns of chasing or over-investing. But the Stoic man knows his worth and expects mutual effort. Relationships thrive when both sides invest equally, and after no contact, you've earned the right to expect her to step up. This aligns with social exchange theory. Healthy relationships balance give and take. When she reaches out, observe her actions, not just her words. Is she making an effort to rebuild the connection? Does she respect your time and boundaries? If she's only offering crumbs, vague texts, inconsistent engagement, don't settle. You've shown you can walk away, and that strength makes you irreplaceable. Practically, this means responding with purpose, not reflex. If she suggests meeting, don't jump at the chance. A measured, "Sounds good, let me see what my week looks like," signals that you're open but not desperate. If she's not investing, she's slow to respond or avoids meaningful conversation, match her energy. Don't chase, mirror her effort, and if it's lacking, step back. This isn't about punishment, it's about maintaining the standard you've set. Try this Stoic exercise after each interaction. Ask, "Is she meeting me halfway?" If not, reflect on why you're tempted to overinvest and redirect that energy into yourself. This practice reinforces your self-respect, ensuring you only engage with those who value you. The heart of this phase is becoming the man she can't replace, not by trying to impress her, but by living a life of purpose and growth. No contact gave you space to rebuild, to invest in yourself, and now it's time to showcase that evolution. The Stoics believed in living virtuously, pursuing excellence for its own sake. Ask yourself, what have I done during no contact to become my best self? Maybe you've gotten in shape, advanced your career, or picked up a new passion. These changes aren't just for her, they're for you. Building a life that's fulfilling with or without her. But when she sees this growth, it triggers a powerful realization. You're not just a man she left. You're a man she can't replace. Psychologically, this taps into loss aversion. The fear of losing something valuable drives action. Your growth makes her question whether she made a mistake, not because you're flaunting it, but because it's undeniable. Showcase this subtly. In conversation, mention a recent accomplishment casually. "I've been diving into this new project at work. It's been a game changer." On social media, share glimpses of your life via photo from a hike, a moment with friends without overcurating for her attention. This authenticity is magnetic, aligning with the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature. Be true to yourself, and others will be drawn to your energy. Try this practice each week. Set one goal that pushes you toward your best self, whether it's mastering a skill, hitting a fitness milestone, or deepening a friendship. Reflect on how these actions make you feel and how they shift your energy from seeking her approval to cultivating your own. This builds a life so compelling that she'll want to be part of it, not because you chased her, but because you've become undeniable. Staying in control of your emotions is the backbone of this process. Reconnecting after no contact can feel like an emotional minefielder. First message might spark excitement, hope, or even anxiety. But the Stoic man doesn't let these feelings dictate his actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The temptation to pour out your heart or respond impulsively is the obstacle. Overcoming it is the path. When she reaches out, pause. Take a breath and ask, what response aligns with my long-term goals? A rushed, emotional reply risks signaling that your silence was a facade. Instead, respond thoughtfully, with calm confidence. If she brings up past conflicts or tests your patience, don't react defensively. A simple, I'm focused on moving forward, let's keep it positive, sets the tone without derailing your composure. This emotional steadiness is attractive because it shows you're grounded, capable of handling challenges without losing your center. To practice this, try a Stoic visualization before responding to her. Imagine your strongest self calm, confident, in control. How would that version of you reply? Write down your response and compare it to your initial impulse. Over time, this practice builds emotional discipline, ensuring you act from strength, not reaction. Psychologically, this aligns with self-determination theory. By acting in alignment with your values, you reinforce your sense of autonomy and competence, making you more resilient and attractive. The ultimate goal isn't just reconnection, it's creating a vision she wants to be part of. The Stoics believed in living with purpose, aligning your actions with a higher aim. After no contact, you're not just rebuilding what was, you're crafting something better. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like in a year, 5 years, 10? Clarify your goals, whether it's building a business, traveling, or pursuing a passion, and let that vision guide your actions. When you share this with her, not boastfully but authentically, it sparks a desire to align with your purpose. For example, if you're working toward a big goal, mention it in passing. I'm really excited about this new direction. I'm talking, it's been a lot of work, but it's worth it. This shows her you have direction, ambition, a life that's moving forward. Psychologically, this taps into the need for relatedness. People are drawn to those whose lives feel meaningful and inspiring. By living with purpose, you shift the dynamics. Is no longer the prize, your life is. Try this exercise. Write down your vision for the next year, focusing on what excites you. Each week, take one step toward that vision and reflect on how it feels to live with purpose. Share glimpses of this with her naturally, in conversation or through your actions, and notice how it changes the dynamic. This practice ensures you're not chasing Harry or inviting her into a life that's already fulfilling. Above all, never forget your worth. No contact was an act of self-respect, a declaration that you value your time, energy, and emotional well-being. That same self-respect must guide every step you take now. The Stoics taught that virtue living in accordance with your values is its own reward. If she's not willing to meet you halfway, to invest in the connection, don't hesitate to walk away again. You're not looking for someone who merely wants you, you're seeking someone who values and respects you. This aligns with self-worth theory. Your belief in your own value shapes how others treat you. Carry yourself with confidence, set clear boundaries, and engage only with those who honor your standards. If she's inconsistent or dismissive, match her energy or step back. This isn't about closing the door forever, it's about ensuring any relationship you build is rooted in mutual respect. To reinforce this, practice a daily affirmation. Each morning, remind yourself, I am enough, with or without her. Pair this with an action that proves it, whether it's tackling a challenge, helping someone, or pursuing a goal. This builds a feedback loop of self-worth, making you magnetic not just to her, but to everyone around you. Over time, you'll find that your worth isn't tied to her response, it's rooted in your actions, your growth, your purpose. This post-no contact phase is your chance to redefine yourself, not just in her eyes, but in your own. No contact was the spark. Now, you're fanning the flame, building a life so compelling that others are drawn to it naturally. The Stoics didn't live for external validation, they lived for virtue, for a life well lived. Your silence, your growth, your purpose, they speak louder than any words could. If she comes back, she'll meet a man who doesn't need her, who chooses her not from a place of strength. And if she doesn't, you've already won, because you've built a life that doesn't depend on her presence. This is your Stoic journey, not a chase for her, but a quest for yourself, a life of purpose, resilience, and unshakable worth. If this message resonates with you, Please like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you create the life you truly deserve.